Okay, this one's kind of similar to number 4 that we worked out earlier. It says assume that alpha is an angle in the standard position whose terminal side is the point 3.3 and 6.6. So because both of those are positive, that means I'm going to be in the first quadrant. So the point 3.3, I go right 3.3, I go up 6.6. That's going to put me somewhere up here in the first quadrant. That means my distance I traveled along the x-axis would be 3.3. The distance I traveled up is 6.6. I could find the missing side by using the Pythagorean theorem if I wanted to, but I actually don't need the missing side here. It tells me I'm looking for the angle here that is part of my triangle. So I'm going to call that angle alpha. Now from my angle alpha, what two sides do I know? Well, I know the opposite side is 6.6. I know the adjacent side is 3.3. So which trig function deals with the opposite and the adjacent? That would be tangent. So we're taking tangent of the angle alpha equals the opposite side over the adjacent side. Now that fraction will reduce. 3.3 over 6.6 is the same thing as 1 over 2. So if I'm taking the tangent of alpha, it had to be equal to 1/2. I could find what alpha needs to be by undoing that tangent. So the way we undo a tangent is we take an inverse tangent of both sides. So the inverse tangent of tangent, those are inverse operations that cancel. And then I'm going to be taking the inverse tangent of 1/2. And I don't have my calculator right here next to me. But once I found that value, I'd plug it in right here, rounding to the nearest decimal. All right, I'm looking at number 8, and it is similar when I'm looking at all the steps. So you'll do the same thing that we did on 7, on 8. The only thing there is that is actually one of our special right triangles. I can tell from the side lengths. When I have a side length of radical 2 and radical 2, then that is a 45, 45, 90 special right triangle. Or has side lengths of 1, 1, radical 2, or you could write it as radical 2, and 2. But again, you could work this one out just like we did the one before to find the angle if you didn't know it was a special right triangle.